Hello there, welcome back. In this video we're going to be taking a PHP timeout, okay? And rather uniquely, I'm going to request that for this video you give your fingers a rest. I do not want you to do any typing or following along. Actually, there really is no point at all. I mean, there's just no point. But I'm going to go over a couple of tricks and techniques and stuff that will become important later on. So here we go. I'll be as fast as I can and I'll speed the video up if I come across any sections that are a little bit kind of boring, okay? So just watch this one, grab a cup of tea, relax, and everything's going to be cool. Alright, so I'm going to head into the modules folder here and I'm going to make a brand new module up and I'll call this one test, okay? It's just for testing stuff, you know, nothing to worry about. Okay, and why don't we just do a view file? So I'll say something like data name equals David, this load view index, and we'll pass in the data, okay? So we'll go like that. We'll make a new file up called index. This is about as easy as it gets, folks, you know, there's pretty straightforward stuff here. Gee, I'm so sorry, my screen's freaking out. Hold on, HTML:5, there we go. And I'll do an H1 and I'll just say hello name, and just to make things look kind of cool, I'll maybe add a touch of the old ipsum lorem stuff in here, you know. And if we go to our online shop /test, here is the page, okay? Now I'm going to upload this page to the web right now so that it's on the live website. Okay, so this is me now uploading, like so. Okay, and if we go to the live website /test, you'll see the page here. So that's us now on the web, no surprises, everything is normal. Okay, so now I'd like to go back to our script here, and I'm going to make a function up called getHeaders, okay? And it's going to use a PHP function that you may or may not have seen before. And the function is called getHeaders, funnily enough. And as you can see from autocomplete here, it's expecting a URL to be passed in, right? So I'm going to add in a URL, which in this case would be something like this, /test. That's my URL, okay? And then I'm going to say var type equals get type headers, and then I'll just say echo headers has a var type of, and can you guess what the variable type will be? I think you probably can. So now I'm just going to say for each headers as blah 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 blah, echo, we'll say key of key has value of value. Okay, so let's run this on the local host, right? Back on the local host, folks. I'm going to run get headers. And as you can see, headers is a variable type of an array. So there's an array coming in here and it's from the live site, okay? So this is looking at the live website. And you can see that this array is coming in that contains all of this headers information. And the first thing we have right at the top here is this http / blah 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 200. So now I'm going to do something kind of crazy. I'm going to go into that same website, okay, the exact same one, and here is the main folder, and I'm going to break the website, okay? So I'll change this index file to index xxx, right? So now I've just literally broken the live website. If we go to the live website now and try and load up the page, you'll see that it says page not found. So now if we go to the local host and we hit refresh, have a look and you'll see that this value here has changed to HTTP blah 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 404, right? It's a 404 error. Now, this is really, really important. What we've just done here is actually critical for certain types of applications. For example, okay, I'm planning on building in the near future, I'm planning on building a newsreader feed, and that newsreader feed is going to scan different news websites like Reuters and CNN and all of that. And I'm going to be looking out for certain headlines, certain news headlines, right? And if it finds certain news headlines, it's going to send me an alert, and hopefully I'll be able to make decisions to do with trading the stock market based on what these other websites say, okay? And the vibe is, the script is going to be reading the other websites, processing the information, essentially just looking for certain strings, right? Strings like stock market crash, for example, okay? Or explosion or something major. And when it finds those strings, it's going to send an alert. Now, if I happen to look at the Reuters website, or I write a website that looks at the Reuters website, and let's say it looks at the website 500 times a day, if on one of those occasions the Reuters website is offline for any reason, or maybe there's a fault or something has happened, the site's down for maintenance or something, it's very important for me to know the status of the web page before I start trying to analyze what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? So the way that we can do that is by looking at this headers information here, and we can find out the status of a page, whether it has a 404 error or something else, or a 200 if everything's okay. We can do all of that with PHP. Now, obviously, there's more than just 404 and 200. If you go to Google and search for HTML status code, you'll find a whole bunch of pages that will give you lists of all those different codes, okay? Some of them are very obscure, and some of them you may have heard of, you know. You may have heard of a 303 redirect, for example. And there's a whole bunch of them, okay? And the point is that being able to know the status of a page is very important if we're going to be doing any analysis of external web pages. As a matter of fact, you can even check the status of a page internally as well. Yes, it is possible, okay? So now I'm going to go back onto the live site here, and I'm going to fix it again and get it all working again, right? So there we go. Everything is now back to normal, and we know that everything's going to be cool, everything's going to be a 200, and that all happens automatically. But did you know that you can actually force a page to have a certain status if you want, right? So for example, if we say header and then we do http:/1.1, let's say for example 302 moved temporarily, okay? So the thing hasn't really been moved, but I'm kind of forcing it. I'm forcing the page to send out this header because yes, we do have that kind of control. We do have the power. So if we drag, oops, hang on a second. If I can just find the modules folder here. Here it is. And sorry, I'm all over the place. If we drag this across to the live site now, like so. Okay, so that's it uploading. And now if we analyze that page and hit refresh here, you'll see that it says header 302 moved temporarily. Now we know that that's not the case. As a matter of fact, if we hit refresh, here's the page loading just fine. But we have forced the page to send a different header just by adding this one line of code across the top here. Okay? Now, once again, if you're asking why does this matter, the answer is it matters because if you build any kind of website in the future that analyzes other web pages internally or externally, then it's very important that you have a way of checking that the page is loading okay. And the way to check that is by looking at those headers. Okay, in this next section, I'd like to answer a question that some of you folks may have had through the ages. And the question is this: is it possible to write a PHP script that fills out forms automatically and submits forms automatically without you having to do a thing, right? So here we are on the online shop. Here's a form, right? We have forms all over the place. So the question is, can you fill out this form and submit it automatically without even having to open up the browser? Is it possible? The answer is yes. If we open up the test controller, I'm going to just paste in the database stuff that we need to get this going. Okay, you've done this loads of times, nothing new here. And then I'm going to go and I'll chuck in what on earth is that? I'll chuck in our models folder, okay? So I'll just grab that from here, we'll copy, I'll paste in like so. Okay, and all I need to do is a little bit of preparation here. Okay, and as easy as that, our controller and model are now ready. All we need now is a database table. So I'm going to make a table up called test. Just a very, very simple table. It's going to have an ID. That will be our primary key auto increment, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have name, city, and age. And we'll make all of those variable characters of, how about 30, okay? It's just a very simple table, folks, no big deal. And there we go, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the most simple form known to humanity. As a matter of fact, I've already made a start. Here it is here, function form, and it loads up a view called form, okay? So I'll just make the view file up. So there we go. Nice simple form, folks. Nothing new, nothing that you cannot handle. So if we go to test/form, you'll see that there's a very simple form here. Now I haven't done a submit button. Let me just do that. Okay, so there we are. Nice simple form, nothing new. And the vibe is when we fill this out and submit it, it takes us to test/submit, right? So let's just build that. It should only take a few seconds. Okay, so all I'm doing now is I'm saying that if name is not empty and city is not empty and age is not empty, that means that they have all been filled out, everything is cool. So let's do the insert, right? So very simple stuff. Data name equals name, data city equals city, data age equals age, and then we're just going to do this insert, and then I'm going to echo out success. Okay, simple as that. Now if something has gone wrong, I'm just going to write uncool vibes. Okay, and with a little bit of luck, folks, that should be us with a fully functioning form that submits and you can add stuff to the database. Let's give this a try. Okay, so here's the form. I'll just mess it up actually, and it says uncool vibes. And now I'm gonna submit this properly. And it says success. If we look at the database and we have a look at the test table, you'll see that everything has been inserted, and that's what we would expect, okay? And very normal, nothing new there, okay? What I'm going to do to make things a bit more interesting is I'm going to upload this to the website. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to upload the test table as well, okay? So that's that being uploaded. If we do select all from test, it will be empty. This is live, remember? If you see Navicat, it's usually live, you know. So the test thing is empty, okay? So if I head over to davidconnolly.com/test/form, now remember, this is now the live website here, okay? If I fill this out, like so, and hit submit, same vibe as we would expect, and of course, it has added a record onto the database, okay? No surprises. Again, that's what we would have expected. Well, here's where it gets kind of interesting. Do you know that we can actually write a PHP script that can fire from our local host, or in fact from any website anywhere in the world, and it can submit to davidconnolly.com just from a PHP script? Let me show you how that works. It's actually remarkably simple. So I'm going to make up a function here, and I'll call it something like auto submit. How about that? Okay. And this particular form is going to use the curl library. Now, the curl library is just a package that can be installed on some PHP servers that's used to transfer data backwards and forwards from external websites, if that makes sense to you. So check this out. It goes something like this, right? The first thing we need to do is create an array of the data to be posted. Okay, so this is as simple as it gets, and I'm just going to say something like, why don't we just say data name equals, and we'll just go for it here, right? So name equals David, data city equals, let's go with New York this time, and data age equals 900. Same age as Yoda, I think. I'm not sure. So we've now made a data of variables that we would like to post. Do you agree that that's very simple, right? Very, very simple. People are watching some of these videos and saying this is really boring and it's too easy. Good. I want this to be easy, right? That's excellent, right? The next stage is we are going to go through this array and prepare a big data string for posting. So here's how this works. What we do is we say for each data as key loading up value, right? You've done that a gazillion times. And we're going to make up a new array called post underscore items, right? And each one of these is going to have a vibe that's like this. Key equals value. Okay, that's the vibe, and thank you very much indeed. Now, if I was to go onto here and just say echo post item, right? Here comes the kind of easy, slightly patronizing section. If I was to go on here and go to auto submit, right? What do you think it's going to say? Yep, that's right. It's going to give us a wee error because the thing's an array and it's freaking out, right? So if we were to loop through this array for each post item as blah, 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 what do you think it's going to do here? Well, let's just do the values, right? Check it out. Okay, no surprises. It's just an ordinary array, and we're just preparing it to do some stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is we need to get this string in pretty good shape so that we can post it to the external website and everything's going to be perfect. Now obviously this is an array and I'm creating a data string, right? This is the vibe. So the way that we do this is we say post string equals implode, and then we say and post items. We're going to do that to post items. Now if I do autocomplete here like this, just to show you, you can see that implode says, well, what's the glue and what's the pieces? That kind of explains what happens. So implode breaks this array up and then joins each of the bits of the array together using, in this case, one of those and symbols, you know, ampersands. So if we echo out post string now, what we have, oh gee, is post item, sorry, forgot an S here. What we have is something like that, okay? Pretty simple, folks, pretty simple. So all we've done so far is we've taken a normal array of variables, we've looped through them and created a nice array with key equals value going on. And then we've turned that array into a string using an ampersand symbol to join up the different parts of the array. That has given us this big string here, okay? So what we're going to do now is, I'll do some, let me just do a new line here, I'll do a comment. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a curl connection. And the way to do that is we chuck in the target URL. So in this case it will be http www.davidconnolly.com/test/submit. Okay, that's where we're going to be connecting to. And then what I'm going to do is we initiate the connection like so. Curl connection equals curl init, which stands for initialize. So we are initializing a connection on this target URL, okay? So it has now connected to the site. Can you handle that? And now I'm going to just prepare the data to be posted. So the vibe is, do you see how we've got like city is New York and there's a space here? That's maybe not a cool vibe. So just to make sure that all of the characters and all that are okay, I'm going to say curl underscore set okay, set the options, and it's going to be, I'm going to do that to, I'm going to do that to this curl connection variable, okay, and in here I'm going to say curl opt underscore post fields, okay, and I'm going to do that to post underscore string. So all that's doing is ditching the dodgy characters and replacing them with nice characters that the curl library can handle, right? We don't want to break anything here. That's all this is doing, okay? So the next part is to actually run the curl request, and to do that we just say result equals curl execute, and we're going to execute onto this curl connection here, okay? And then finally we're going to close the connection, and to do that we just say curl underscore close. Can you guess what goes in here? Yes indeed, Starsky, it's that curl connection variable again, and that is us, okay? That's auto submit, that's all there is to it, right? So if we now go to auto submit, and we by the way, just to show you, this is the live database here. there's only one record on the live database, right? But here I am on the local host. I'm going to hit refresh. You can see that it says success on the screen. And if we go to the live database, you can see that it has indeed inserted a database record. Oh, hallelujah. This is a revolution, folks. This is an absolute revolution. And the two key takeaways are, first of all, that it did insert a record into the database. That's an important takeaway. But the second takeaway is, not only did our script insert something into the database, but it also returned whatever the website was churning out. And in the case of davidconnolly.com, that's a message that says success. Can you handle the vibe? I think you can. Now, if we had the name empty, something like that, and we ran auto submit, again, I'm on the local host, you'll see that it says uncool vibes, right? You'll see that the database does not create a new row, and everything is fantasticola. Well, that's pretty much the end of this video, and you might be wondering, well, what on earth does any of this have to do with our online shop, and why am I showing you this stuff? I mean, is it just that I'm trying to prepare you in case you decide to become a part-time hacker? Well, actually no, but funnily enough, as a little side note, yes, this is a hacker's paradise. So that's kind of interesting. But it's not the reason why I was going over this stuff. The reason why I was going over this stuff is because we have a technical challenge. And the challenge is, how do we know that the data that's being posted back is really coming from PayPal? How do we know that for sure? I mean, you can get a really obscure IPN listener URL, right? We could have a URL with all weird numbers and everything. And that's nice, okay? That's a nice step forward. But it's not 1,000,000% perfect. I mean, what if there's some disgruntled staff member or something? Maybe somebody figures out or somebody knows what the IPN URL is. What's to stop them from posting stuff from their bedroom? You now know how that works, right? You know how easy that stuff is. So what's to stop someone else from doing that and effectively getting access to, who knows what, files or parts of the website that people should be paying for? Who knows? Well, in the very next video, we're going to be using the techniques covered here to do a sort of handshake between our website and PayPal. And in doing so, that is going to give us 100% peace of mind that the posted data coming in is indeed from PayPal. So that's why we went over that. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.